I'd like to call the meeting to order. The Board of Leavenworth County Commissioners. I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the record, all three commissioners are present. I'd like to start the meeting with public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address. Oh boy, you just about missed her. I was getting ready to drop the hammer there, Mr. Clamp.
I was thinking about the road in my mind. You know, last time we spent Lewis Clint, 1816 Pine Ridge Drive, Leavenworth, Kansas. We spent a lot of time talking about the sunflowers.
Yes, sir.
And how do we keep it going safety-wise, this-wise? And I don't know if you've come up with your committee or not yet.
They have.
They have, that's good.
They had been working on it prior to that discussion.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. And they should have been, since it's a very important project. But I got to thinking, you know, you can have it one way, make the roads one way.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, I said, you know, somewhere down there, we were worried about safety. And I watched Sully again last night, land an airplane on the water. And I said, God, we got a helicopter. We don't. I know the sheriff had talked about it years ago, getting a helicopter, but there are helicopters here.
KHP has them.
And they're very refined.
Mm-hmm.
And if we go through the proper channels, maybe they could be a little bit alerted that if we have an emergency, we're going to call them and they can launch their chopper to take care of the emergency, because that was my main concern when we're talking about that. So, and I don't know whether Chuck can get a hold of who or whether you want to do that, but that goes on for what, 2 months? Is that how long the sunflowers are?
It's about a month, isn't it?
About a month?
About a month.
Well, that wouldn't hurt anybody to be on alert for about a month, you know, and we're not talking about a massive alert. It's just if they can get there during that day, because if you're in line and the ambulance is trying to get there, they may not get there that day, and then you got all the people saying, you know, you killed my dad, this, that, because you didn't get the ambulance there, and they have EMTs and on the chopper, so it would be a very simple way to handle the problem, and with their navigational system, they can pinpoint it as good or better than the EMS. So it was just a thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know whether they have been discussing it, probably not. They're not aviation minded, but I might have been surprised. So that was
I
just,
think we have the sheriff and EMS and emergency management and Mark. They'll come up with something.
yeah.
I have faith in our staff.
That's good. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Then we'll move on to approval of the minutes of session 1 last week. You had a chance to look at that, commissioners?
I have.
I'll make a motion to approve session 1 of July 6, 2017.
Second.
Voting.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I also read session 2, which was very short.
Yes, it was.
I'll make a motion for July 6, 2017, session 2 for approval.
Second.
Voting.
Aye.
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 Okay. And I'd like to have a motion to
Motion to
OCBs.
OCBs for the chairman to sign and date as stated.
Second.
Voting.
Aye.
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 All right. And then Janet, you're here for the voting delegate for the KAC.
KAC, Kansas Association of Counties, is having their annual conference November 14, 15, and 16 in Kansas City. The board does need to appoint a delegate, a voting delegate. I think Commissioner Smith, you were a voting delegate last year.
Oh, spring. No, last year I
Not
wasn't.
last year.
Not here. I wasn't here last year. I went to the conference, but I wasn't voting.
Yeah, he was at the conference.
Did
I was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay. So, who would all three of you like to attend the conference? Because I will get you registered this week.
I was kind of, I heard you talking here with Doug. I think that's a good idea for Dave Lucian to attend that and have him be like are you going, Doug?
Yeah, planned on it.
We make Doug the voting delegate and Dave Lucian the alternate if he is going.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
Voting,
Aye.
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 Paul, would you like to attend? We still have time.
I have to check my calendar if I can.
Okay, I will, I'll go ahead and get you registered, Doug. I will talk to Dave and, so that's all.
Okay.
And you can just let me know, Bob, or,
Okay.
you know, Becky can
Okay.
register you too. It doesn't matter. All right, thank you.
Okay. We ready for the MOU for City of Lansing?
Do we have a time frame to have to?
Oh, that's 10 o'clock, or 10 after
19.
9, excuse me. Probably better wait on
So
that.
we have to wait on
Okay, do we have any administrative business at this time?
I don't have anything. I just let you know that we do have a policy review committee meeting this week.
Okay,
And then on the Thursday agenda, we have the code of conduct discussion. You should all have the copies of what came out of that committee. So,
okay.
that. It's quite lengthy.
and then last week you'd given me direction to meet with the treasurer and go over a few things about legal billing.
Mhm.
I have an appointment set up with her for tomorrow to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a few minutes before 10 after 9. I guess we could open up public comment again. Mr. Herring, you have any comments today? Okay. Always willing to hear.
We begin advanced voting Wednesday for the city commission primary
Right.
and the city of Tonganoxie primary. So, the office will be open for advanced voting starting Wednesday.
Mhm.
I suspect our turnout,
Won't be light.
understatement, Bob, understatement.
It was last time.
So, we have 11 candidates that followed in the city of Leavenworth, and so we're going to take that down to 6 candidates moving forward in November. And in the city of Tonganoxie, we had 10 people file, and we will also take that number down to 6.
Okay.
So
So it'll
this-
be interesting. Oh, go ahead, Commissioner.
why was it, the vote for the city commission narrows down to 6?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
no problem.
How do the kids in the big sandbox over in Washington, they don't live in the area, but they can still represent? There's about 2 or 3 of them
Mm-hmm.
that are running, that don't live in
Their district.
the district, but they can run. I've yet to figure that one out. That is.
Are you talking United States
Yes,
Senate or?
that's a big sandbox.
Well, you know, they're supposed to.
Theoretically.
maintain their home of record, but I know exactly what you mean.
But this was announced, you know, that on several TV programs, that Betty Jo does not live in the area, but she's running for the representative, you know.
Louis, I think that Pat Roberts was called out on this several years ago. He had a rocking chair in this rented house.
People voted for him, so
Yeah.
the people vote. I mean,
Even though they don't live in the area.
That's
Right.
not what I call having a residency in your district.
And they get impeached, and they can rerun. So, on board.
We got to just worry about our problems, Mr. Klemp. I don't know if we can tackle Washington just yet.
It flows down.
Oh, flows down.
Yeah. People
Okay.
learn from what they do.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going at it backwards then.
Adequate pile.
Okay. All right. I believe we're MOU with the city of Lansing. David? Tim? Yeah, Better have a seat. We're gonna go through this line by line.
Great.
Members of Commissioners, present with me is Mr. Tim Vandalon, David Van Harris. Commissioners, Lansing City Council met last Thursday evening to consider the adoption of an agreement pursuant to the authority granted to both parties, the purpose of which was
Mic
to
on.
approve
Is your mic on?
It's on.
Oh,
McIntyre Road, as has been discussed. The city of Lansing did approve the agreement. The next step would be for this board to approve the agreement. You've been provided a copy. Relatively straightforward. I would certainly answer any questions you might have regarding it.
okay. Commissioners, had any questions on this MOU?
The only question I might have, we keep referring to Exhibit A, and we do not have a copy of Exhibit A with our document. Should we have that to vote on?
A copy of Exhibit A was provided. I believe it's
It's on the one that you have. Maybe they didn't get that. But yeah, that-
As long as we
Mr.
have
Chairman has a
a
copy.
copy. I just wanted to make sure
It's
we
the
were.
road profile.
Yeah, I don't have that
Design.
copy either.
You wanna look at that?
I did bring copies.
I didn't.
If you'd like to have one.
I would.
All I did was that had been provided as part of the agreement.
Well, my only thought
I
was
thought I
that we
couldn't
needed
find
to have that
Exhibit A.
attached to
Well,
our
it's
record.
attached to the sign, the
have.
ones that they had signed, Commissioner.
Thank you. Hate to be a pain in the,
Commissioner, Exhibit A is a cross-section of the road which shows the construction design, particularly for that portion of the roadway within the corporate boundaries of the city of Lansing.
Once this agreement's signed, we can go to bid pretty quick.
Commissioner, the contract provides that you will go to bid within 90 days. We anticipate possibly being able to do so in advance of
I would hope.
that. The sooner the better.
Yeah, because like I said, the prices we've been getting, I said we need to jump sooner than later. I guess, you got any questions, Commissioner?
No. Motion to approve the MOU for Lansing.
we have a hand up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Clip.
Thank you, Clyde, for bringing up the one subject. You know, if it refers to it, it's not nice to have it so you can read it. I highlighted some areas that were a little bit of concern to me, whereas has always concerned me. And it's the second whereas, was to fund the improvement of McIntyre Road east of the intersection of said road and US 73/K7 highway to the terminus of said road at the intersection of K5 highway in parentheses project. And so we the county are going to do from 773 to State Highway 5.
Yes.
And that is how many miles? Anybody know?
Counting,
2 miles.
2 miles. I know Lansing's got
part of
half
that's,
mile.
part of that's in the city of Lansing.
Yeah, half mile.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, isn't that right?
I was gonna say,
So that's what we're going to pay for, unless we do an alternate. Now, number one, the purpose, the common good of the parties. Future development of Lansing. That's very logical, but I also highlighted A in the bottom, County Road 5,
State Road 5?
County Road 5.
Oh, County Road 5,
I don't care
okay.
about state.
Okay.
That's a test site. County Road 5 has been developed for how many years? Chip and seal.
In the 40s, probably.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
1940s,
'Cause
probably
I-
after the
I
war.
don't have, I mean, it's been a long time.
I was driving in the 50s.
And it was hard surface then.
Yeah, it was hard surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's in the 40s.
So it's interesting for the purpose, common purpose, that's lasted for, let's just say 60, 77
70 years, probably.
That's not bad.
No.
So-
The roads outlasted all the bridges.
Yeah, well, I got a story on the bridges, I'll tell you, on my deathbed.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy one.
Yeah, so the alternate bid, they have 30 days. So we're talking about 90 days to develop the road or to go out for bids and get it started.
Right.
You know, this has been going on so long, and it was a simple project. It's just, the three sitting up there couldn't make up their mind. Lansing couldn't make up its mind. Well, they wanted this, they want that. The price has gone down, now they want a little bit more because the price has gone down. This is county taxpayer money. There are 76,000 some odd people in this county, and this is county taxpayers. So if you're gonna put in the alternate that they want, I think that's fine, but, you know, they're asking for a sleeve. Now, that's very interesting, you know, you gotta look up what the heck a sleeve is. And a sleeve, in case anybody doesn't know what a sleeve is, it's not this thing on the end of my shirt. A sleeve is a crossover that is protected by some kind of insulation so you can get from point A to point B. Now, I don't know whether it's for electric, whether it's for wastewater, very good. So, is a sleeve a big deal? I don't know how big it was, what the cost was. But the main thing that really gets to me is the county shall assume the maintenance and repair and snow removal for its. Now, its portion comes after the city.
Right.
The city is going to do theirs,
Correct.
but we're going to have some kind of agreement. Why didn't we have that in here? The agreement should have been in here that one person maintain it. It would be ridiculous to have the county crossing 773 going blade up a half mile and then dropping the blade, grading our portion. That's the only thing that is the basic thing that bothers me, other than, does anybody know who the lawyer was that made this up?
Mr. Van Perry's, I'm assuming.
Commissioner, the maintenance agreement you referred to was initially proposed but declined.
Declined by whom?
City of,
We wanted them to do the whole thing?
yes.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a very good point. Good, bad, or indifferent, I'll probably have two of the council members tell me that was a lie, because that's what I've been hearing for the whole time. Somebody's lying, that's what they keep saying. But, how do you pronounce it, David? Ultra-virus?
Ultra-virus.
Thank you. Does everybody know what that means? You know what it means, Bob? Doesn't have anything to do with pure feeds, does it?
No.
Yeah. So it means an act performed without any authority to act on subject. Now, we just had that with planning and zoning directors some time ago. So I thought that should be defined, but I think the maintenance contract needs to be there, should have been there, should never have been left out. You know, you say, City of Lansing, you're gonna do it, and there won't be any other discussion, or you won't get to do your alternate, the whole thing's void. But we're gonna leave that, and we'll talk 45 minutes some other time down the line. We've had that with Easton, we do that with Baser.
I think it was a very good idea, but
Yeah.
as David said, the city of Lansing declined.
So,
Can't make them.
oh no.
Well,
we
Commissioner,
can, but,
I think, Mr. Clemp, the commission's goal in the near future is to have an MOU with all the cities in the county, with the roads that butt up to the city limits and stuff like that. We need that. Like I said, just like you're talking about the snow removal. Well, I know the county's not gonna drive across their half a mile with the blade up. If there's snow on it, they're gonna kick it off as they're going.
Yep.
I mean, that's just common sense.
common sense.
But as far as in the future, on these roads that are encroaching upon the city, you know, we do need a interlocal agreement or just a memo of understanding with all cities.
Yeah.
And we don't have that right now. We have it with a few. They've expired. Some of them have expired. You know, most of them go to the 5 years.
It's easier to get when you're doing something for somebody
Right.
rather than later.
Right. But
So-
we need to get this project out for bid because we are getting some good
That's about
prices.
a
We
year
need to
ago.
get this moved. This is what the taxpayers voted on, the sales tax. We need to get this going.
Yeah, but you're going past improvement.
We are, but,
You're doing a
but,
good
and
job.
at the same time, as about placing the sleeve in, you're not gonna do it any cheaper than when you're building the road. I mean, it's gonna be a savings to the city of Lansing. I mean, it's to the taxpayers. They
Yeah.
still pay taxes to the county.
Yeah.
So it is a savings. I mean, that's thinking ahead, and I'm glad we're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, but,
Instead of building a new road and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
digging it up to put a sewer line in.
yeah, I agree. It was a
So-
good thing to add in, but somebody thought ahead and said, let's
That's
add
right.
the sleeve, and, so you're going on down the line. But you don't have that agreement, and down the line, it will be extremely hard to get because,
I think the cities we've worked with before have all,
Yeah.
it hadn't been that difficult to get an interlocal agreement. I think we'll be all right.
but it was a very simple matter to
Right.
resolve now. Why did the city reject it? You know, what the heck?
Didn't go to their meetings,
Yeah.
so, but we're gonna move forward on this. We have a motion and a second.
So moved.
No, I made the motion.
I just
don't
needed
think
a
we have
second. I need a second.
Second.
Voting,
Aye.
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 Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that we make certain various signatory copies are completed this morning so that perhaps Mr. Van could leave with one.
Today's the 10th. 17th. Does this need to be done? All right. We have anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Well, I'm I want to talk about the conflict of interest again. I still think that we have a conflict of interest. And I'll make a motion to remove the waiver of the conflict of interest for the county councilor and the deputy county councilor.
Would you explain a little bit about how you understand that?
I think there was a conflict of interest, or we would not have been approached by them to waive the conflict of interest.
Well, I don't see it as, we voted several weeks ago, Clyde and I voted for
Okay?
that there was no conflict of interest. I don't see anything that has changed. I mean, we know how this is supposed to play out, and I think both of them are still doing their job. I just, if there's a conflict of interest, I don't know about it. I think that,
Well, I think that they acknowledge that there's a conflict of interest, but you have the ability to
Right.
waive that, and that's what
Right.
you did.
That's what
so
we
that
did.
they could continue to do the work for the county that doesn't involve their contract.
Well, I'm going to second the motion.
Voting.
Aye.
Aye.
nay, for what are we voting here? That
To remove the waiver of the conflict of
remove waiver?
interest.
Nay.
Have any other business? No motion? Yes, sir.
A confirmation of your vote. You know, I was reading the dissertation, and I didn't care that you divided up the two serious subjects. One's coming next week, or this Thursday, on the contract for the human resource. And I read through there, and in a lot of detail, she was talking about she could get no representatives here with these two attorneys. Why can't she get representatives? if, or is there a conflict of interest? But you took care of that. So, but I thought it was interesting, all the dissertation in that letter or in her contract says she couldn't get this, she can't get this because there is no representation. Why can't these two represent her? I couldn't figure that out. They're attorneys, and they should have been able to represent the human resource lady. But she's out hiring another one, but that's for next week, or this Thursday's discussion. But there's two attorneys right here that we are paying big money to for the average employee in Leavenworth. And we're paying them big money, and they can't represent a department head. They can't represent you. There's no way they can represent you because they're countersuing. It may not be the proper term, but that's what they're doing. So,
This commission started this.
say again?
I say this commission started this.
Yes, you and Dennis started it.
No.
Yeah. We don't want to go there,
No,
Bob.
this,
No.
you don't want to go there.
Yeah, but you guys started it. when
No,
you
we
started
didn't.
Giving the extended
No, we
contracts.
didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, we didn't.
Yep. And one of you, and I was looking for it last night, one of you even said, so there won't be the possibility of them not continuing their contract with the county, so that you're gonna add the extra years. And I'll find that in my big bag of stuff of the Dennis Bob episode, so. thank you.
And Clyde. Don't forget Clyde, he was a member.
He didn't sign their contract.
Hi, Andrea Hughes. I was doing some work and I heard the removal of the conflict of interest waiver. And I just need the board to clarify my role as to the county business if they are not going to waive the conflict under my professional standards as an attorney in the state of Kansas. If you believe there's a conflict, I need to know what my role is as to my employment here and my responsibilities to you, my employer, the county.
Any thoughts, Commissioner?
No, I think before I answer that, I want to get an opinion of council.
And what council would we get that from?
That's a very good question.
Well,
I guess we could ask Mr. Ryburn that, or Mr. Van Paris for an opinion.
okay. And we got a time frame on that?
I'd say within the next week, couple days, week,
We should have that by Thursday?
yes.
Do you wish us to continue reporting to work in the meantime? I don't.
Do you
I
wish
guess we
me-
need direction.
Yes. Under the professional rules as an attorney in the state of Kansas, I provided you with a letter and your administrator explaining that if you brought an action against me, I believe there was a conflict, and I asked you then to make a decision as you wanted to continue, knowing that there's a conflict. You waived the conflict. That meant that I could continue doing my work for the county. If you're unwaiving that waiver, if you're removing it, and you're saying there is a conflict, I need to know if I'm to come to work, continue working today or tomorrow on behalf of the county.
Okay, I'll decide. Then I'll make a motion that the county counselor and deputy county counselor be on paid administrative leave till we figure this out.
Chairman, I'm not trying to be hard to get along with, but I have no problem with them coming to work and doing their duties.
But we just determined there was a conflict. Yes, sir, Mr. Clem.
Andrea, she brings up a very good point. It is a very good point. Now, I know you're not going to let me use the fact that I went to Naval Justice School as part of a decision-making process. But I will throw in common sense. And it's a shame on common sense because there's a long email on common sense, how it died a long time ago. There is no way these two ladies, except by direction, you could direct her to handle only the sale. Only the sale. Because you don't want, personally, you know, and I just saw something on the news last night about having, and I don't mean this to be rude, of having the fox in a chicken house. They're counteracting you, you're doing this to them. It's just no way, human nature-wise, that you can have them work for you. There's no way you can, somewhere there would be a failing. And, you know, we talk about the, what do you call it, of the state of Kansas. We've seen the lawyers in the federal government. And people are human. So I think they deserve an answer, and the answer is not to wait for paying another $1,500. We're not gonna die without these two. So you either fire them and let them proceed, or you give them administrative leave till the court or somebody makes a decision. It's a very simple process. To let it linger on, and her not knowing where she's stepping, and Clyde wanting a legal opinion from a law firm, and Molly not knowing what she can do, but it's a simple process, common sense. Let's bring it back to life and give them their time off if that's what you want, or give them just fire them and see where it goes. But to have them here, I think it is not. Well, society is talking about it. I mean, in a big way. It isn't something minor out there. So, but I think you can resolve it very easy by using common sense.
I've got to respond. My problem is the county does need legal representation. And under the circumstances, the way it's being brought forward, we would not have that.
Well, I bet you, Clyde, I bet you go to your county attorney and say, we need some help on this one subject. Because most of the things you deal with are common sense. There is no way they're going to handle the case when it goes to court. If it goes to court, we hope it doesn't. But if it does, there's no way either one of them, because they're part of it.
I understand.
So
My concern.
Yeah, but don't put them in that position.
You're correct. I don't want to put them in that position because there is a conflict, and I don't want them.
Right, and I handed out 4 definitions of conflict of interest. And
I have a motion on the floor to paid administrative leave, so.
Second.
Voting.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Now you do realize what you just did, Clyde.
Yes.
We put them on administrative leave, so they'll leave today
With
and
pay.
be paid.
That's right.
So now we're gonna have to hire but another attorney to give us legal help. Because there's departments in this courthouse that needs legal help. And,
That's
so,
why.
and I agree. I mean, we're gonna have to hire yet another attorney. We just, by the way, I got a bill from Mr. Rayburn of over $6,000. When is that gonna be approved?
Make a motion to approve Mr. Ryburn's bill.
So now that bumps that up to over $14,000 for Mr. Ryburn's bill. And now we're gonna pay 2 attorneys to sit at home, and then we're gonna have to hire another attorney to represent the county in issues with HR, with...
Taxpayers voted the commissioners in that made these contracts, so the taxpayers are gonna have to pay for their mistake.
As I see it, there is no mistake. And only the mistake is what you're doing now.
I'll own it.
Pardon?
I said I'll own it. I'll accept it.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Mr. Clem.
I don't know how many years we did not have a engineer, county engineer.
Mm-hmm.
We had a road, what was it? Mel Hedrick?
Highway administrator.
Yeah, Mel Hedrick.
Yes, sir.
When we needed an engineering decision, what did we do? We went to, one time, to Ronald Bacon.
Yes, sir.
So we hired one when we needed it. And I think Lansing still here? Lansing used to do that. I don't know if they got a full-time engineer now, but Baser used to do that. When you have a problem, you go hire somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need an attorney for that project, then you go out and hire somebody. So they're out there. We got 50-some lawyers here, at least that's what it used to be, 52. We may have more of that now. So when you need a lawyer, you'll go out and hire one the same way as we did with the Public Works. It worked great. So that is not a problem.
Well, I would probably disagree with that for several reasons, in that we are a big enough entity and we have enough going on a daily basis, which is why we have a county counselor. And right now we have a deputy county counselor as well. Things such as a planning and zoning committee this Wednesday, that there will be items on there that they're going to need legal expertise for. I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but according to state statute, in our policy, the county counselor is supposed to review a lot of the bills before they go out if they're over a certain amount. The contracts that we have come in have to be reviewed. So I understand what you're doing, and I'm not, that's totally the board's decision to take the action you are. But I would ask, and I did this prior, that since you've taken this action, that you also provide me with either an interim county counselor or an attorney who you would like me to work with, because we do have nearly daily need for an attorney, and I will need that to go forward. And just on Thursday's agenda, there are likely to be items that come up that we're going to want some legal counseling on, and I just want to make sure that we're not left without legal counsel. That's my only concern.
I agree with the statement that was made.
Mm-hmm.
We do need legal advice and availability of having that advice.
Why not ask the county attorney? He is the county attorney, and I don't want to hear the county attorney or anybody step in for him and say, well, that's not my responsibility. It is his for a temporary time. Is this going to go on for 6 years? This debate over whether their contracts, it won't matter. If it's going to go on for another 6 months, 3 months, how long is it going to go on for?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, see, because we're letting the system swap out on us.
Mm-hmm.
So, go to the county attorney and say, for a short period of time, we need some help. Nobody ever wants to ask for help.
Does Mr. Van Perry's contract allows for additional, correct?
Yes.
I would think he would be available if asked.
In the interim, until we
Yeah.
figure this out?
So that would set us back on legal things that are going on with the road projects. So we take him away from the road projects and they stop.
They're not gonna stop. We can at least get through this week, Mr. Van Perry's, can we? We'll figure something out.
Yes.
Really seems pretty bad that we terminate an attorney and then we bring him back as our attorney.
Is that a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Voting, aye.
Nay.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, voting.
Aye.